I'm going to be making use of the ITX slot in the top of my Phanteks P600S to make a gaming PC plus home server in one chassis. Now, to do that, I needed some specific parts, but here are the main pieces. This is an ITX motherboard from Gigabyte under the E01 brand. It, I believe, supports headless booting. Now, there are very few motherboards on the market that support that. Essentially, along with that, let's see, people like unboxings. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan, but it is PCI Express 4.0 ready. So the one and only X16 slot that it has is PCI Express 4.0. That can be an issue given the current setup, because this will not have a graphics card directly slotted into it. It will be across a 600 millimeter extension. So that can cause issues with PCI Express 4.0. Let's take this out and have a look. It is dense. I was not expecting that. I don't think I'll unwrap it yet. You guys have seen plenty of pictures of this motherboard online. There's nothing new to it. I do love that it has a PCI Express Gen 4 M.2 slot on the back. That's full. It's the full 80 millimeters. And there's one on the front also underneath that heatsink. The first drive I'll be putting will be the main drive, and that'll be under here. And given the orientation inside the system, it will be like this, on top of the system, my fingers being near the back of the computer, so it will be very easy to access this from the top fan grill. It's a very dense motherboard. Moving on, we have the parts. I do like the sturdiness and the weight distribution of the Gigabyte antenna module, more so than the Asus antenna module. That, I mean, in reality, all it is a plastic housing for a very light antenna, but the weight distribution on this is much better. It's a lot heavier down at the base. Now let's take a look here. Okay, so we get the usual. This is all covered inside the product specifications, what comes in the box. You get two SATA cables. They're both short length. One of them is right angled at one end. You've got a digital RGB cable, so that's 4-pin. That's RGBW, I believe. No, it's 12 volt. A 12 volt pin and an RGB pins. So power and RGB. Let's see. So this is the motherboard manual. If you're doing anything outside of the norm with your motherboard, I would recommend reading this. For me, I will be reading this thoroughly, especially to do with things like C states, etc. I could find this information online also, but it's here, why not? I will be running this as a server, as I think I've mentioned before. So I'm going to try and tune it for best efficiency, power efficiency, things like C states, ERP, potentially wake on LAN, things like that. Now here I have the 5700G. It is currently at a good price, and yeah, I can't wait to put this in and get it going. Okay, that about covers it. I'll go over the other parts soon.